Good morning. Driving down the road and a thought occurred to me. Why do we do what we do? It's certainly not easier to homestead or grow your own food or butcher your own food or do some of the hard things that we have to do on a regular basis. But why do we do it? For me, my wife, it's because it's satisfying. At the end of the day, you can look at what you've done and there are fruits to your labor. At the end of a day of butchering chickens or hogs or whatever else, we have something to put in the freezer. Something that's going to help us the next time the grocery store is shut down. Next time we just don't want to go to the grocery store. Or the next time there's an outbreak because of a processing plant that just had an error. It happens. That's one thing. There's a satisfaction of work, I think, is missing on a lot of people now. Specifically our age group. We're in our 30s, or I'm in my 30s. She's in her late 20s. But I think some of that work ethic is missing. In order for me to heat our house today, I have to go out. I will cut down trees. I will buck them into manageable pieces, stack them on the trailer, bring them home, split them, stack them. When the time comes, they will get stacked inside the barn, and then every morning and every evening, depending on how cold it is outside, they get put in the wood boiler. That is a lot of work just to heat our house, where most people can just turn on the switch and the gas comes from somewhere. It is a good work. It's a great time when you're cutting wood or splitting wood to kind of be alone with your thoughts. To try to collect some ideas and have a few moments. Everybody does that differently. Some people take walks, read a book, meditate, exercise. But that's a big one for me. Accountability is another reason that I think this is a growing lifestyle. When we started this about a year and a half to 2 years ago, changing how we lived, we started thinking about where our food came from, what it took to get that food on the plate, and then seeing how the animals were treated. I'm certainly no animal rights activist, but I do treat our animals with as much respect as I can. They're going to be giving their life for us to eat. And there's some weight with that. In speaking with my family, they're honestly considering going vegetarian now that they've seen how meat is made. Not that they were foolish before or didn't know, but they didn't think about it. When you pick up an animal and you spend time with it, it becomes more real. Certainly there's a much better quality, but it's not for everybody. There are a lot of people that just don't want to do that. That's fine. But then to pass the buck on to somebody else takes away from some of that accountability I was talking about. Perfect example of that, treating the animals with respect and doing the best we can for them. We have one of our laying hens now that I think she slipped a joint or broke her leg this week. I was hoping it was just a sprain, so she's in a secluded area. She's actually in our heated garage. It's kind of the Taj Mahal for injured animals. Fresh food and water, and they get egg yolks and things like that help them along the road to recovery. I just don't think she's getting any better. And she's skin and bones because she hadn't been able to eat until I was able to get her in there. And the time is going to come that if she doesn't improve over the next 24 or 48 hours, and I don't think she will, she has to be put down. She has to be put out of her misery. And that's awful. It's not fun. Nobody wakes up and thinks, nobody should wake up and think, I get to kill something today. But if I don't do that, that animal is going to suffer. So it's our job, when we raise these animals, to take care of them. A less morose part of this lifestyle is gardening. There is nothing to me more satisfying than going down to the garden at the end of summer and just bringing hundreds of pounds worth of food out that's going to feed us then and through winter. We took a big step this last growing season, or actually it started the year before, but a big step into a more sustainable way of living by really increasing our garden size. I think our garden this year was something of a failure, but it was still a great success, if that makes any sense. It just didn't hit the goals that I wanted it to, and we're going to amend how we do things to make that better for this coming season. But there were Sundays where I would go down and fill our outdoor table with produce for free that we've grown at the cost of seeds. That was it. It was fantastic, and the quality is like nothing you're ever going to see in a store. We're hoping this year to actually expand that operation and sell some of those seedlings and potentially some of the produce if we have excess, so other people in our area can do that and hopefully see some of that and see some of the varieties that you don't get at the store, some of the just fantastic tomatoes or squash that you're never going to see at the grocery store. Was it work? Sure. And it takes away from the instant gratification that we all are so accustomed to, myself included. We put that garden in this summer that we moved in, and just last year it started actually doing something, and it took work and sitting for a year before we were able to take one thing from it. It's one of the downsides to a no-till method. It just takes some time, and it will continue to get better every year, but putting the time and effort and work up front paid its dividends on the back end, and now that work is, I won't say done, but the hard part of that work is complete. It's now just maintenance and then new plants, things like that. It's another one of the things that I get joy out of, and I think it helps. That instant gratification that becomes so used to. If you click on something on Amazon and it's not at your door in 48 hours, you're pretty frustrated. You click on a link and it doesn't automatically open immediately, something is wrong. And we get so used to that. Real things take time. They take work. And sometimes the more that we can bring ourselves back to that, I think it makes us a better society and a better person. I think it makes me a better person that I can get out and do those things and start and learn the goals, or learn the lessons that can really teach me. This was kind of a rambling video, but I was thinking about it as I was driving down the road. Have a great day. Go out and do something.